Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm going to do another air gun video here. Show you another one of mine. Crosman 1377, the American Classic. They started making these in 1977 and they're still making them to this day. If you bought one of the earlier ones in the 70s, then you got one with the steel breech. This is a newer model. This is, I think, considered like the third variant. The first variant had a steel breech, and it had the slide bolt, kind of like on those. If you've seen my Crosman 150, 157 videos, it has that same type of mechanism that closes the bolt there. And this one actually has like a bolt action. So the first variant had a steel breech, and then the slide bolt, and this one has the bolt handle, and then the second and third have a bolt handle. This one came with a plastic breech, and I ordered a steel breech and put that on it, and then I made this brass bolt right here for it. I just pulled it out. You know, I worked on this, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. I made the walnut grips for it, and the walnut pump arm, and I think it was about maybe 3 years ago, something like that, maybe a little longer. But I did that's all I did to this thing really, is made the walnut grips and the walnut pump arm, put the steel breech on it, and made a brass bolt. Now I pulled it out and I just shot it. It's shooting fine, but I'm getting a little air leakage here in the breech because this seal right here, I need to replace that. It either shrunk or it's just not seating real tight like it should. So I'm getting a little blow by here, but that's an easy fix. And then while I'm doing it, originally when I got this, I used to have, I think they call it the model. This is the model 1377. There's also a model 1322, which is 22 caliber. This is 177 caliber. And then I had a backpackers model years ago, back I think in the 90s. And it was a green plastic with I think it came with green plastic grips, but then it also had the stock. For it to kind of turn it into a carbine. Now they're calling the model 1399 the stock, and I could order one of those to put on it, and I've seen a lot of guns with those. They'll put a custom wooden pump arm and then have the plastic stock, and I just don't like the looks of that. So I'm going to make a walnut stock for this. I'm not sure if I have a big enough piece of walnut or if I can acquire it, but I might have to do a glue up and make it with some glued up pieces of walnut. I'll just have to look around and see. But that's definitely something I have planned for this in the future, is to make a nice wooden walnut stock, and then it'll match the pump arm. And I was checking in my cabinet here a little bit ago, and I started making these grips. Because if you saw my Crosman 150 video, I had a bunch of those grips I sold on eBay years ago, and I still have some of those, some blanks of those, and then unfinished. And then I also have some of these style grips that I made a little bit different than this one. These were the original ones. Let me take it apart real quick and I'll show you. So on these grips, they're all one piece. and where I mortised it out there and stuff. The ones I found in the cabinet that I never finished from years ago are two-piece. I took a thinner piece of walnut and glued it on just to simplify construction of them. So that I could, knock them out quicker and sell them cheaper, so that they didn't have that much labor involved in making them. And so other than, you'd look at the edge profile of the grip and you'd see a line there where it was another piece of walnut, but looking at it face on, it would look just like these here. But yeah, I may get around to finishing those and get back to work on those and finish them up and turn them on eBay or something. I don't know, we'll see. I've got a bunch of pump arms cut out too, and I think they're drilled, but they're not mortised yet, I believe. Oh, while I have this apart, the only other modification I did to this thing, the original trigger spring that it had right here, was I measured it at a little over 5-pound trigger pull, which was a little bit too heavy for my liking. So I had a spring the exact same length and diameter, but just made out of thinner stock, and I stuck it in there and tried it, and it's pulling at 3.5 pounds now, which is perfect for me. I like it right around 3.5 pounds. So yeah, just changing that spring out. Now there's companies that make adjustable ones that slip over this stud, and I thought about making one of those out of a piece of brass and thread it and make this where it's adjustable, but I don't think I'm going to take the time, because I said this one here pulling at 3.5, that's kind of right on for me. So I'll just leave it like that, not spend the time to make an adjustable trigger. The only other thing I noticed, because like I said, it was a while ago I worked on this thing, I guess the factory trigger was had some rough edges or something, because it looks like I did some sanding and smoothed it out, but I never went back and re-blued it, which I need to do. But looks like I rounded and smoothed it. It might have had rough edges there. It's got the push button safety. It does have an adjustable rear sight, and it's adjustable for the elevation thing there. And yeah, and then the front blade sight. I didn't do anything with those. I have some more of that fiber optic, that bright stuff. I forget the name of it now, but I have some more of that. I may. Sometimes I have some glow paint, and sometimes I'll put glow paint on these on the sights. Just a dab of it here and a dab of it around there, around the groove, and that helps too. That glow paint. I don't know. When I get back to work on this, I may end up doing something with the sights too. It does have this steel receiver came with is dovetailed here, so you could add sights on here. I know some people have gone hog wild modifying these things. I've seen some pretty fancy ones. On eBay and on YouTube, where they've done some extreme modifications to these American Classic 1377s, 1322s. But I'm not going to take this one too far. I'm just, going to make it where it's a good, reliable shooter, and it's comfortable. And the biggest thing and most time-consuming modification will be to make that stock for it. And the one I had, I was telling you about, the backpacker. I'm not sure if it was called a 1399 backpacker or what the model but it was very similar to this, and I think it may have had a steel breech. Can't remember. I don't have that gun anymore, but it had like a quick release, maybe spring loaded something or other to attach the grips. I think the hand grips were one piece. You pushed a button and they popped off, and then when you put the stock on, it was the same way. It went in and then it just kind of snapped in place, and it was really secure and did good. I'm not sure. I'll probably make the stock to where I'll use the factory threaded bolts there to attach it. That's more than likely the way I'll do it. So you won't be able to quick change it back and forth, but you put the stock on and when you want the stock, and then you put the pistol grips on it when you want the pistol grips. It has a single pull. It's not like the Crosman 150 where it has two power settings, because your power is regulated by how many pumps you give it. Crosman is claiming 600 feet per second with 10 pumps, and they recommend that being the max pump, unless you modify the valves, unless you modify the valve in it and make it a high powered model or whatever. But yeah, it's fairly accurate having that long of a barrel, having a longer barrel. The barrel length is 7 inches. If you count it all the way up to the breech, it's 10 inches. So 10 inches right up to here. So yeah, it's more accurate having that longer barrel. I like it. Nice little gun. Didn't like it, the way it came with the plastic breech, but Crosman makes the upgrade parts. They're about, I think, $50 to $60 for a steel breech, and then they do sell a brass bolt, and I think they have a stainless steel bolt, and they have brass bolt handles. If you get the brass bolt and handle, I think it's another $25, but I had everything to make one, so I didn't bother buying that. I just bought this steel breech, and it was a super easy project. So if you have one of these and it has a plastic breech and you want to upgrade it to a steel one, you can hunt around. You might be able to find one cheaper than 50, but right around $50 to $60, and super easy to swap it over. It's an easy project. So anyway, I just wanted to show you that one. My Crosman American Classic 1377 with the custom walnut grips and pump on them. There it is. All right, we'll see you later in the next one. This is Dave. See ya.